Hi, thank you for joining me for another video. If this is your first time here, my name is Megan and I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I'm passionate about sewing and learning. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit of information about a pattern that I tested recently that is releasing right away. It's from Pattern Emporium and it is called the tank dress, and it comes with 3 different versions, a gathered skirt, an A-line skirt, and a fabulous, perfect for twirling circle skirt. I was fortunate enough to recently be accepted to the Pattern Emporium testing pool, which was really exciting for me. I've tested for a couple other companies. Love Notions is one. I've tested for Sinclair Patterns, and Pattern Emporium is a company out of Australia, and I have made quite a few of their patterns recently. You might have noticed in some of my videos that I've made a few of their endless summer tees. Their tees and tank tops are a great fit for me, and I love how versatile their patterns are. And Kate is the designer that owns Pattern Emporium, and when she releases a pattern, it is typically chock full of options, and plus she provides a lot of information about which patterns in her line are mashable or have the same arm side or the same bodice, so you can mix and match between the various pattern pieces. So when I was a little kid, my favorite toy was the fashion plates set, and in Canada the one I had was from Crayola, and it had like a backlit desk and all of these little plastic pieces that were various tops and bottoms and heads and feet of little fashion dolls, so you could trace them and sort of rub over them with crayon and make your own outfits out of the various tops and bottoms. And I get a little bit of that thrill when I work with Pattern Emporium patterns, because you get to do the same thing. You can look at the line drawings and say, I like the sleeve from this pattern, I like the skirt from this dress, I'm going to put them together, and they always turn out great. So I made 2 different versions of the tank dress. Both of them, well, all of the dresses in this pattern have this gorgeous cutaway shoulder with the wide band. And so this is familiar to you because it's also the feature of the recently released Timeout tank from Pattern Emporium that I featured a while ago that I have not yet made. And then as soon as I printed the pattern, I was accepted into the tester pool. So I thought, well, that's serendipitous. But anyway, so it's got this high crew neck, a cutout shoulder, and this beautiful wide binding. And I think that this is the perfect dress to make if you are looking for something that is quick and easy to sew, but has just a tiny bit more meat to it. So you want something easy that's going to build your confidence, but you also want to learn something new or do something a little bit different than the usual. And so this dress with this feature wide binding, I think, is perfect for that. So I made 2 versions. The one that I'm wearing right now is the circle skirt version, and it is gorgeous. I've actually never made a circle skirt before. I'm not sure I've ever even worn one. And as soon as I put it on, I had to do a twirl, and I just feel so fabulous and so cute in this. I think it's gorgeous with a belt. I have a stretchy elastic black belt that I've put on with it. I think it's super cute. It really nips in at my waist. I think for this dress to look its best, it should sit, the bodice, the waist seam should sit at your natural waist. But of course it depends on what you're comfortable with. So for my figure, I like it up, not umpire waist, but like high enough that it's at my natural waist, and then the skirt just flows from there. I made it knee length, and so I'm 5'9", so what I actually did was I cut the skirt length as marked on below knee length, and then just that gave me enough to hem it at knee length, which was fast and easy. I actually made this whole dress with my 2.5-year-old sitting beside me on a stool while I was at my sewing machine, because I wanted to sew and he wanted some time to play with trucks or whatever, and he was very curious about what I was doing. We were very safe about keeping sharp and pointy things away from him. But as I said, it's not completely mindless, but it's pretty mindless, and then the fun part is the binding. The second version of the dress that I made is the A-line. So that one has the same bodice, the same fitted bodice, the same beautiful wide binding, and then a slimmer skirt. So it's an A-line skirt, so it's not straight cut. It does have a bit of a flare, but it's not I think skater style or like fit and flare, what I sort of imagine. It doesn't have as wide of a skirt as, say, the Minetta dress or the Turner dress or some of those other ones. The circle skirt, I did not multi-size. So I made the same size bodice and the same size skirt for this circle skirt version. For the A-line dress version, I did multi-size. And the thing that I really like about Pattern Emporium is that her instructions are very thorough. If you're an experienced sewist, you might say they're too thorough, but what is critically important is that you read the instructions about how to pick the size of the garment that you're going to make and how to measure yourself, because the Pattern Emporium measuring system is slightly different than most other pattern companies that I've worked with or that I've used. So it has you take your upper bust measurement without a bra on, which is different. And I do get a different measurement when I do it one versus the other. And then when you select which size of this dress you're going to make, you're going to want to pay pretty close attention to the version of the dress you want to make and then the sizing instructions. So I would say you should probably like sit down and read it top to bottom, all of that sizing information before you cut out your fabric. Typically, I will look at the chart and I'll go bust, waist, hips, bang, 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 trace it and be done. And in this case, if I had done that, I'm not sure I would have achieved as great of a fit as I think that I did, because I probably would have multi-sized the bodice. I measured for an 18 upper bust and a 20 waist, and I just cut an 18 bodice on both versions. And then for the skirt, I cut a 22 skirt for the A-line, but blended to that 18 waist. And I was hesitant. I thought, I'm not sure, this might just be too snug for my comfort, but it fits beautifully, and I think it gets a really flattering and smooth line, and I'm very happy with it. So the other piece of information, so my versions are tester versions, so the final pattern might have a slightly shorter bodice length, but I did adjust the length of the bodice on both versions. On the circle skirt, I shortened the bodice by 1 inch to make sure that that waist seam sat at my natural waist. On the A-line version, I made it, and then I came back, I took the skirt off and I shortened it by 1.5 inches, so that again, the A-line skirt would sit at my natural waist, and I thought that was a more flattering look for me and what I was happy with. I did stabilize the waist seam on the circle skirt with a clear elastic, because this is a mystery fabric that I ordered back in 2017 from Craftsy, when you could still get fabric at Craftsy. It's about, like, it's some kind of polyester knit. It's not brushed, but it's about the same weight as a double brushed poly. So when you've got I used 3 full yards, the circle skirt is a bit of a fabric hog. And so there's a lot of weight to that skirt, and I didn't want it to droop, and I also wanted it to stay at my waist. So I did stabilize with a clear elastic. That's included in the instructions if you've never done that before. It's very straightforward. I didn't stabilize the waist seam on my A-line skirt. That one's made with a much lighter weight. I think it's an ITY. It's a very lightweight knit fabric. It's very slinky, and it's dressier. So when I think about where I'm going to wear these two garments, I think that this one is super cute for if I was going out with my girlfriends for coffee, or maybe a day date with my husband, or I'd even wear it to the office, throw a little cardigan over it or a jean jacket. Maybe a baby shower or a wedding shower might be kind of fun, that type of thing. The tropical print one I would definitely wear out on a date night, or if we were on vacation at a resort for a special night. I'd wear it to the office, like dress down a little bit. I think with jewelry and high heels, you could make it quite sexy. Like I felt quite sexy in that dress. Or you could make it more office appropriate. Like I looked through my stash of fabric and I had this tropical print, and I thought, yeah, I'll make this cutaway. I think it's a little bit sporty. I'll make a cute little sundress to wear around, maybe over the pool. And certainly, I think if you wanted to throw this on over your bathing suit, you would be very pleased with it as a beach cover-up. But I think that what I got was a much more polished dress that I'm very proud of, and I will be very happy to wear it out when it is hot outside and I want to go out on the town with my husband. So I think that you could make this dress out of a solid fabric. You could use a lighter weight ponte or a Liverpool if you're sewing for a cooler climate. Virtually any 4-way stretch knit is going to work. I don't think I'd make it with cotton spandex. Maybe the gathered skirt version, I would use a cotton lycra or a cotton spandex for like a really sporty casual look. But I think that depending on how the fabric that you use and how you accessorize it, this would be the perfect dress to wear back to the office if you have been recalled back to working in the office instead of working from home. I think it's a very flattering style, and it's also very comfortable. So if maybe you're not pretty thrilled about putting on dress pants again, I think this dress with a cardigan or a blazer, you look super polished. And I might order some black bamboo jersey from Black Rabbit fabric or somewhere else and make just a straight up little black dress, I think would be very cute. I think you can do, this one I did a contrast binding, the other one I just used self fabric binding. It's a great way to use up odd scraps of, this is a bamboo jersey that I bound this one with, and it pressed beautifully, it sewed beautifully. I was very pleased with it. I think that this is a great dress for maybe not your first dress, but if it's your second or third knit garment and you want to learn how to do a binding, give it a go. I really like the instructional video for this binding. I liked the written instructions were very clear, and it was a technique that I hadn't used before for applying this binding that has you do, it's basically 3 steps instead of just 2. And the result was, I was very confident that I was getting an even and smooth binding, and I much prefer it, the look of it, to just a neckband or an armband. The other thing I like about this dress is that the bra coverage is really good. So I'm just wearing a regular bra with a decent size strap, and I haven't hooked it in the back. It's not a racer back, and it's covered. So I was worried about that. I do have a racer back bra, but I thought sometimes you don't want to think about things too hard when you get up in the morning and get dressed. This is one of those dresses you can throw on and just be happy and confident with what you're wearing, and I think you'll be very pleased with it. So if you have any questions for me about this dress, please leave me a comment down below or check out Pattern Emporium. There should be a video with all of the different versions. I'll link in the description box. You can check out their Facebook group. It's full of supportive sewists and lovely people. Lots of them are from Australia, and I think that it's a friendly and casual place to be. So if you have any questions, again, just leave me a comment, and I look forward to hearing about your Pattern Emporium tank dress. Have a great day.